change that? Thank you very much. May I request the State Minister to remain, as she will be signing all the agreements. Thank you. I have the honor to invite Ms. Kubai Ngubane, Minister of Tourism of the Republic of South Africa, whom will sign the agreement between the government of the Republic of South Africa and the government of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. The agreement is on cooperation in the field of tourism. Ministers. Thank you, ministers. May I now invite Dr. Zweli Mkhize, the Minister of Health of the Republic of South Africa, who will sign the Memorandum of Understanding on Cooperation in the Field of Health between the Republic of South Africa and the Government of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. Ministers. Thank you, ministers. We have now come to the end of the signing ceremony. I'll now hand over to the presidential spokesperson to direct the press briefing. Kusala.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Losi. Your Excellencies, President Ramafosa, Prime Minister Abe Ahmed Ali, ministers from the Republic of South Africa and from the Federal Republic of Ethiopia, senior officials, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start off by thanking you for honoring this media briefing, which marks the end of the official visit by Prime Minister Abe to South Africa. I'm going to direct this program, and I'll start off by inviting their excellencies to deliver their remarks. Thereafter, we'll take a round of questions. A joint communique on the visit will also be issued after the media briefing. Without wasting any time, I will ask you, Your Excellency President Ramaphosa, if you could deliver the remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Diko. Honorable Prime Minister of the Federal Republic of Ethiopia, Dr. Abiy Ahmed Ali, honorable ministers and deputy ministers and distinguished guests and members of the media. It's a real pleasure to have Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed Ali here, and I'd like to express our deep appreciation for your visit to our country, together with your delegation, and we had frank and full and wide-ranging discussions on a number of issues. The two countries share a common commitment to enhance our political and economic cooperation, and also to implement new and existing memoranda of understandings and agreements between us. The strong and resilient bonds of friendship that were forged many years ago during South Africa's struggle for freedom have set a very firm foundation for both countries in terms of deepening our relations and enhancing our mutual endeavors on regional and multilateral forums. I'm also very pleased with the progress that we have made today on the important matter of crafting a strategic partnership between our two countries. Our respective ministers of foreign affairs will take this essential process forward in 2020. We have today confirmed that the joint ministerial commission between our two countries will meet in Addis Ababa during this year. A number of South African government departments have had valuable contact with their Ethiopian counterpart ministers and are making good progress in strengthening relations between our two countries. We welcome the finalization of a new agreement and two memoranda of understanding. The one agreement is on the waiver of visa requirements for holders of diplomatic and official passports that is expected to ease the travel of officials between our two nations. The Memorandum of Understanding on Cooperation in the field of tourism will extend our partnership to a sector of great importance to both countries due to the employment opportunities that are created and the foreign currencies that is generated through tourism. We also welcome the Memorandum on Cooperation in the field of health, which is a vital area that is of great importance to the citizens of both countries, especially the young, the old, and the infirm. South Africa wishes the people of Ethiopia every success in their political and economic developments, which have just been wonderful and unbelievable. Ethiopia's democratic progress needs to be nourished and preserved, and we are in full support of Ethiopia in this regard. Ethiopia's development success is closely linked to South Africa's success and the success of the continent. We applaud the great vision that led to the realization of peace between Ethiopia and Eritrea, a situation that appeared to be intractable some time ago. It is fitting that the Nobel Peace Prize for 2019 was awarded to Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed for his decisive initiative and continued efforts to resolve the border conflict with an important neighbor. This speaks to the Prime Minister's objective to attain ongoing peace and stability in the Horn of Africa. Our discussions today also covered South Africa's assumption of the rotational chair of the African Union in February this year. We expressed our hope for closer collaboration on issues of concern to our continent as we advance Agenda 2063 and realize the objective of silencing the guns. The achievement of sustainable peace and stability is an essential condition for national, regional, and continental development. This effort will be enhanced by the fact that South Africa has been appointed the AU champion on AU-UN cooperation on peace operations. The rotational chairship of the AU also coincides with South Africa's third tenure as a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. We hope to continue our cooperation with other African nations of the UN Security Council and with members of the AU Peace and Security Council. And working together, we will endeavor to achieve the social and economic development of the continent and the realization of a prosperous Africa based on inclusive growth and sustainable development. The Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement is an important milestone that affords South Africa and Ethiopia the opportunity to grow their respective economies through strengthened trade and investment. We are extremely pleased that Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has returned to his second home, South Africa, and the city in which he studied as a student. In conclusion, I wish to thank the Prime Minister and his delegation for making the time to undertake this important visit to South Africa and for the progressive and constructive discussions that we have had today. We obviously look forward to many more such valuable engagements so that our political and economic relations can indeed continue to grow from strength to strength. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency President Ramaphosa. Your Excellency Prime Minister Abe, if I could invite you, sir.
Your Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa, I would like to express my gratitude to you and to your government for the warm welcome extended to me and my delegation since our arrival to this beautiful country and beautiful city of Pretoria. It is a great honor for me to be here on an official state visit. Although South Africa has been a home for me where I was here several years ago as a student. The Rainbow Nation is one that is close to Ethiopia through our shared history and strong ties. Ethiopia was a constant partner of the people of South Africa in their struggle for the freedom and the equality. This morning's meeting with President Cyril Ramaphosa has been a great opportunity to further solidify the long-standing relations between our two countries. We discussed the various reform measures we have been undertaking to draw parallels where they exist and enable collaboration. Beyond elevating our economic and political ties, we also explored ways of enhancing our people-to-people ties across and within our two countries. Just like Madiba had considered Ethiopia his home in 1962, many Ethiopians now have made South Africa their home. They contribute to the country professionally and by engaging in businesses. They have made investments in various sectors and have given birth to their children in South Africa. Indeed, they too comprise the Rainbow Nation. In my discussion with Ethiopian community representatives here in Pretoria, they shared with me the love and respect they have for their home away from home. And I told them back that I share the feeling because South Africa is very lovable. I also extend my invitation to South Africans to come and invest in Ethiopia and make it their home as well. My administration is committed to creating a conducive investment and business environment, which South Africans can also take part into that opportunity. And we look to South African private sector to come and share our journey of creating prosperity with mutual gains for both sides. Ethiopia is now opening up to private capital in telecommunication, energy, logistics, and other industries, which South African investors have great experience on those fields. We also discussed the way in which we can boost our trade volume between our two countries, considering the great potential that exists, particularly through the opportunity that the African Continental Free Trade Area provides for bilateral and intra-regional trade. Noting the importance of standing on the international arena with a common voice, we have also discussed and agreed with President Ramaphosa to collaborate closely on multilateral issues. I consider this visit as a great opportunity that will deepen our ties and look forward to our sustained partnership I thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Your Excellencies. I'll now take the first round of questions from the foreign editor of the SABC, Ms. Mkwena.
Thank you. My name is Sophie Mkwena. I'm the foreign editor at the South African Broadcasting Corporation. I've got a question, Prime Minister. You spoke about the request directed to President Cyril Ramaphosa to assist on the current issue around the Ethiopia Renaissance Dam matter between Ethiopia and Egypt. How do you hope that President Ramaphosa can help, or what do you expect from him as the incoming chair of the AU? The second question is on your Nobel Peace Prize. On a lighter note, President Trump says he deserves the honor, but it's fine, and he was behind the work. What's your reaction? And President Ramaphosa, on multilateral issues, Libya, Iran, we are incoming chair of the AU, but also we are in the Security Council. The Prime Minister spoke about a need for a peaceful world and peaceful Africa. What's the problem? Why can't we have peace around the world?
Thank you very much, Your Excellencies.
Thank you very much. On the issue of dam, Ethiopia always believes in win-win approach with Egypt and the Sudan, and we're following the same track. And the current request for President Ramaphosa, as he is a good friend for both Ethiopia and Egypt, also as incoming AU chair, he can make a discussion between both parties so as to solve the issue peacefully, because peace is a foundation for everything here in Africa. Without having peace, we can't realize our vision of development and growth, and he is championing worldwide on this issue. That's why we're requesting as a brother and as a friendly country to negotiate between Ethiopia and Egypt, as well the Sudan. I am sure he will play a significant role on bringing us on win-win solution. On the issue of Nobel Prize, to be honest, I don't have any clue about the criteria, how the Nobel Committee select an individual for the prize. So the issue of President Trump must go to the Nobel Prize Committee. I'm not aware how they elect or select someone to provide the prize. And I'm not working for the prize. I'm working that peace is a very critical thing for our region. And if they recognize, and if President Trump complained, it must go to Oslo, not to Ethiopia. Thank you very much.
Thank you. President Ramaphosa.
The issue of the dam, the Renaissance Dam, clearly is a matter that needs to be discussed between Ethiopia and Egypt. And what is pleasing, as far as I'm concerned, is that both countries are willing to discuss this matter and find solutions. I had a brief discussion with President al-Sisi, and he said to me that they are willing to have discussions with Ethiopia, and the same has now been pronounced by Prime Minister Abe, and I believe that a solution is possible, because the two countries are great countries, and the Nile River is important to both countries, and there must be a way in which their interests can be addressed, and there must be a way in which a solution can be found. As for ourselves, we are willing to play a role in facilitating whatever agreement that can be crafted, and we will remain supportive to finding peaceful solutions between countries on our continent. When it comes to why can't we find peace around the world? That's a very broad question. But in relation to Libya, the African Union is determined that we should continue to silence the guns on our continent. And as incoming chair of the AU, we will be also championing that. The AU depicted 2020 as the year of silencing the guns. And so that is an ongoing process. And Libya is one country that's so important to the African continent that we have to find peace. We cannot continue countenancing a situation where there continues to be war in Libya, and some of the fighting is being sponsored from outside the country, and we believe that this must stop. We also welcome the truce that was announced, that there will be a truce where the warring parties will halt their hostilities, and we believe that that should give us all an opportunity to find a way of crafting a peaceful solution. And we believe that we must find African solutions to African problems. The peace that has to prevail in Libya must be a peace that is grounded in African soil. It must be pursued and led by the African Union. And this is precisely what we will be seeking to advocate in relation not only to the conflict that's raging in Libya, but also conflicts that are raging elsewhere on the continent. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Asma Amwe for the Ethiopian Broadcasting Corporation.
Thank you. My first question goes to Excellency President Ramafosa. It's known that there are many Ethiopians are living here in South Africa. However, they are often found to be attacked, the incident, just like xenophobia. So how much do you know that, and what's plan next to keep them safe? This is my question. And the next question is for Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed, and I want to ask in Amharic, ተከበሩት ጠቅላይ ሚኒስትር በውይይቱ እርስዎም በንግግሮም እንዳነሱት የኢትዮጵያን ጉዳይ በውይይት እንደተነሳ ተገልጿል። በውይይቶች ላይ እነሱ ያነሷቸው የነበረ ነው። ምንድነው በቀጣይ እነሱ እንደነ ለማስጠበቅ የሚያስችል በውይይቱ ውስጥ ውጤት ተገኝቷል ማለት እንችላለን ወይ? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Because I speak in Amharic, I know that that question was the same as the one posed to President Rama. So I'll take a bonus question, Karin.
Karin de Plessis, freelance journalist. I have a question for Prime Minister Abiy. Prime Minister, you have a very important elections coming up in your country this year. And there's been some people who say that the logistics and the situation in the country is not conducive to having elections. Do you believe you'll be ready to have elections by May? And I'm asking this question as a regular visitor to your country and AU summits, so I'm curious.
Thank you very much. Your Excellencies.
Well, on the question of Ethiopians who are here in this country, and they are, as you say, that they are being subjected to attacks, the South African government is very clear on the fact that people who are here in South Africa are welcome in South Africa, and they should never be subjected to any form of attacks and any form of xenophobic type of attacks as well. We seek to protect all people who live in our country, not only South Africans, but everyone, wherever they come from. That is the stated approach and policy of our government. And our government is completely opposed to any feelings and disposition of xenophobia against anyone. And later last year, we went through a rather difficult situation where a number of foreign nationals were subjected to attacks. The government immediately took action, and a number of people were arrested. And there were a number of people who lost their lives, and the majority of them were South Africans. And this happened in a process where shops were looted, and people were attacked. And we regretted that, and that did not position South Africa well. And we're taking steps to ensure that all people in South Africa respect one another, and they respect the fact that we are all here to live peacefully as South Africans. And we are embarking on a number of programs and projects to ensure that every South African and every person who lives here respects each other's rights. And through that, we want to address the question of people who might have temptation to be xenophobic. We've also instituted a fact-finding mission, which is going to continue with its work, so that we go to the root of all the causes of this, so that we should never have incidents like this going into the future. What we want to say to Ethiopians who are here in South Africa, that they should be rest assured that the South African government will protect Ethiopians, will protect all people of our country against any form of attacks. And where they happen, it's because of criminal activity, which we will also take strong action against. So we are committed in that regard because we want to continue respecting the rights of all people, and including this fellow Africans who come to our country. Thank you very much. The other question I cannot answer. I only speak Amharic on Tuesdays. So today is not Tuesday, so I can't answer it.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Well, I will start from the question of election. On the schedule, I'm not sure whether it is May or June, because the schedule will be declared by election board. But I think we will conduct election this year, because this is constitutional mandate, and we have to live up to the constitution. There might be lots of challenges, not only logistics, but also peace and security. But if there was no challenge, why we need to go to election? We need election because there is challenge, and we want to confront it in a very democratic way, so as to have a legitimate government. So there are lots of excuses for this, but in my opinion, it's better for Ethiopians and for Ethiopian parties to conduct the election on time in a very peaceful and democratic manner. From the government side, we're more than ready to conduct the election, because we better work according to constitution. But the rest must and shall be declared by election board, since the job is not for the government, it's by election board, which will be decided when and how the election will be conducted. But in my opinion, it's very important to do it on time. Since it is Sunday, I can speak Amharic. I better reply for you in Amharic. ደቡብ አፍሪካ የመጣንበት ዋናው ምክንያት በደቡብ አፍሪካ ውስጥ የሚኖሩ ኢትዮጵያውያን ዲያስፖራ የሚደርስባቸው ጥቃት ብቻ ሳይሆን ህጋዊ መኖሪያ ፈቃድ ችግር ስላለባቸው ዋና የመጣንበት ጉዳይ ይሄ ነው። በዚህ ጉዳይ ላይ ከፕሬዚዳንት ሲሪል ራማፎሳ እና ከካቢኔዎቻቸው ጋር ትናንትም ዛሬም በዝርዝር ተወያይተናል። በእነሱ በኩል ይህንን ጉዳይ በተቻለ ፍጥነትና መጠን ለመፍታት ፍላጎት አላቸው። በእነሱ ውጭ ጉዳይ ሚኒስቴር እና በእኛ ውጭ ጉዳይ ሚኒስቴር እንዲሁም ሰላም ሚኒስቴርን ጨምሮ የጋራ ኮሚቴ እንዲቋቋምና ህጋዊ የመኖሪያ ፈቃድ የሚያገኙበት ሁኔታ እንዲመቻች ፕሬዚዳንት ራማፎሳ አዘዋል። ለዚህም የሳውዝ አፍሪካ መንግስት እናመሰግናለን። የዜኖፎቢያን ተያይዞ የሚደረግ ግድያ ስፔሲፊካሊ ለኢትዮጵያ ብቻ አይደለም። እዚህ ሀገር በጣም አልፎ አልፎ በሚነሱ ችግሮች የሚሞቱ የአፍሪካ ሀገር ተወላጆች አሉ። ያ ጥቃት ኢትዮጵያንም ያካትታል። ያ ጥቃት እንዳይኖር የደቡብ አፍሪካ መንግስት እየሰራ መሆኑን ገልጿል። ከዚህ ቀደምም ጥቃት ሲደርስ ለኛ ሁኔታውን ለማሳወቅ ስፔሻል ኢንቮይ ፕሬዚዳንት ራማፎሳ ልከው አሳውቀዋል። በጋራ እንደዚህ አይነት የጥላቻ እና የግድያ እሳቤ ከመላ አፍሪካ እንዲጠፋ በጋራ እንሰራለን። ልክ ኢትዮጵያም ያለው ችግር እዚህም ይታያል። በመላ አፍሪካ ሰላም እና መገዳደል እንዲጠፋ በጋራ ለመስራት ስለወሰን ለኢትዮጵያውያን ይህ ቪዚት በጣም ወሳኝና አስፈላጊ ነበር። የደቡብ አፍሪካ መንግስት የሰጠው ምላሽ እጅግ ጥሩ ነበር ማለት ይቻላል። እና I tried to respond on your behalf.
Yes.
That you told me yesterday.
Yes.
The answer of this question. even though today it's very difficult for you to speak in Amharic.
And I understood what you said.
Your Excellencies, before we release you, please may I invite you for a handshake in front of the flags. Thank you. Thank you very much. That concludes our media briefing. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. As we thank their Excellencies, thank the ministers, members of the media, and everybody for attending. The joint communique will be issued as soon as we are done, which is now. Thank you very much.